Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, some big news for Sog Knives, some oldies but goodies in the state of the collection, and then we take a look at our favorite knives of 2021. Now, not being a maven of the newest of the new, I'm opening this up to any knife that you acquired in 2021. So we'll open up how relevant that is. But before we get to any of that, be sure to like, subscribe, and of course you'll be commenting tonight. But really, just hit the like button. You know, even if you're here this long, even if you've gotten this far into it, hit the like button. Why not? It'll be your Christmas gift to me. So Merry Christmas to you all, and Happy New Year. And can't wait to hear about all the things you've gotten and will get. Hello, Dave. Good evening, Dave. This Old Sword Blade Reviews Evening Knife Junkies. He says, "Hey, Byron, good to have you here, Byron. Mr. Kennedy is a gentleman junkie. Good to have you here. Hero Sticks. Hello, sir. Excited to hear about folks' favorites from 2021. Me too. I am too. And some of these, hey, Chris, we have Blade Ogre with us tonight. Good to have you here. Some of these Civivis I've gotten, I think a number of them, I know a number of them are from 2021. I'm just not exactly sure which ones. Hey, Vinny, good to have Vinny here. Hey, everyone, he says. Vinny, nice to have a Vinny watching. Brandon G. Brandon, pleasure. Evening, everyone, he says. Well, good evening to you, sir. Blade Hobby, got Blade Hobby. Speaking of Civivis, the one I'm carrying in my pocket and one I've been has been my car knife today as I was running errands. I had a Goodfellas day, if you know what I mean, and running all around, helicopters chasing me. But this is what I was fidgeting with. All thanks to Blade Hobby. Thank you, Blade Hobby. Gave me a screaming deal on these two Civivis. I do appreciate it. All right. So what were you carrying today? This is a pocket check. And you know what? I think I'm having some trouble with my damn headphones. One of these days, my whole setup will be so legit that I will have no issues. But better than not being able to hear me, right? Through this microphone. Lone Wolf, good to have Lone Wolf with you. Happy Yule. Well, happy Yule to you, Lone Wolf. This is a pocket check. Okay, what was I carrying today? Today was a day of errands. I took the day off in preparation for Christmas. And hey, D-Bass, good to have you here. Hello, Bob and everyone. Merry Christmas Eve. Indeed, it's a great Christmas Eve. We did cookies tonight. My daughters and wife cooked them up and then or baked them. And then I swooped in and helped them decorate. It was a lot of fun. I ate the ugly ones, and there were a good number of them. They made a million cookies. A lot of fun. Very Christmassy. Today, my errands running. I needed something that was going to be utilitarian, but that, you know, if the Christmas errands got out of hand, I could take care of business. So I had the sacks with me, the Emerson sacks. This is the full size. Really excellent knife. This has really great Emerson 2.0 action, and by that I mean single detent. I love the double detent and the single detent. You get different feels out of it. The single detent Emersons are very flick outable, but you still have to break them in. You still go through all that heartache and near regret when you first get it. Hey, Scott N, also a gentleman junkie. Good to have you here. Hollywood Tactical. Good to have Hollywood Tactical. I'm supposed to leave the house, but feel like staying in. It's raining in LA, which means Angelinos stop leaving the house. Well, that's like snow in a lot of other places. And that's a legitimate reason to stay in. And somehow, when you know everyone else is kind of just hunkered down, feels good to hunker down too, you know. But the inverse of that is also correct. Like playing hooky and knowing everyone else is at work is also kind of gratifying. K Mason, good evening, everyone, says K Mason. K Mason, good to have you here. Oh, Shredder guys are here. When I said play hooky, of course, you know, I was joking. Ezekiel, good to have you here. And Jonathan, Steve Clover. Clever. I call you Clever. I'm not sure if it's Clover or not, but Steve, good to have you here. Always a pleasure to see that rooster face. Good evening, Bob and Jim, fellow knife lovers. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to you, sir. This one more thing to report about this Emerson Sachs. Hey, James. Wow, I saw the Lespect knife you have. Wow, that was gorgeous. Hey, Bob, I think I just got one of my new favorites, carrying no knife as I'm in Manhattan on vacation. But when I'm home, I'll take out the new Lispect. I cannot wait to see that, James. Hey, James, while you're there, go to the northeast corner of 30th Street and 3rd Avenue and look up at the 3rd floor. And that's where I used to live, right above a place called The Bank, which is a bar restaurant. Michael Morgan, good to see you here. Evening, Bob and Jim. Always a pleasure to have Michael Morgan. So Emerson Sachs, just a great knife. Took a while to break in. Heartache ensued. Dropped it on its tip. Jared Neve rescued it and put a screaming edge on it. It already was sharp. You know, these chisel edge blades are crazy sharp and just awesome, but he took it to the next level. Hey, Bob and Jim, get to watch live this week. Jay Wilton, good to have you here, man. I'm glad you have a chance to watch. Here's to you. Ooh. All right. So next, what did I carry next? I also had my JB knife and tool ditch pick on me. And if you didn't know, with the JB knife and tool knife, if it has ditch in the name, that means it has this super thin blade stock. Look at this. I can't remember I think it's a 1/16 of an inch. It is really thin. It's like steak knife at Denny's thin. And but in speaking with Brian Moreland, the gentleman, one of the two gentlemen behind this knife and JB Knife and Tool, he's done a lot of testing with this incidentally, and has pounded it into 2x4s and that kind of thing, and this super thin steel, and that's impressive, and I'm happy that it works and he's done that. But even if it didn't do that, you don't need that sort of stoutness to use a knife like this for what it's intended for. This one ordinarily comes Picall style, which is edge in, so this edge sharpened. But on this drop, he was offering, I don't know if he does this on all drops, but he was offering double edge, single edge with just this edge sharpened, or bayonet grind, where he sharpens the front to about there, halfway. And I thought that was so sweet. Except I knew I would regret not getting a full double edge. All the knife fights I've been in really have dictated to me, if you can get a full double edge, do it. And of course, people who are new and don't know I'm joking because I'm such a good actor. Of course, I'm joking. I have a real taste for tactical knives, and I have a love for the theoretical use of a knife, like in Kali, which I very much enjoy practicing. But it's not. I'm not saying I'm a real knife fighter. We just want to say that in case people are watching, like, who is this sucker? But for real, I do like the knives. So that's what I was carrying today. The Emerson Sachs and the JB Knife and Tool ditch pick. Otherwise, I had this. This is the brazen, Civivi brazen in that Tanto. And actually, under the light, it looks a little orangier than it is. It's more maroon, like the color of my shirt. But I featured this on the midweek supplemental when it first came out. And I remember thinking I really liked that Tanto blade, and I thought I wanted to get my hands on this. And then I lost interest in it. But, Blade Hobby put these up on Blade forums together in a really great deal that I couldn't resist. And the riffle I really wanted badly. So I got them both for the price of one, basically. Thanks again, Blade Hobby. He's excellent. If you run into him on any of the buying or selling secondary marketplaces, Blade Hobby was a pleasure to deal with. So there you have it. Okay, so that's what I had today. What did you have today? Let me know. You're watching Thursday Night Knives right here on YouTube, Switch, and live on Facebook as well. Too as well. You ever hear that? There's a host I really like, and then my boss of bosses at work does this too. Says too as well. We're going to make sure that we try and strike that balance. Too as well. It's like too as well. Now it's like you protest too much. Now I think you're lying to me. So just too or as well is all I have to say about that. All right, is no one carrying a knife today? Is that what it is? You guys didn't have to go to work, so you didn't carry a knife, or who knows? Maybe you didn't leave the house, or maybe you've lost interest in knives. I don't get it. What's going on? Carrying my Concept Preta 2 Tanto today, the K Maxrom design. I love that thing. and was so psyched to see you do the review of it because, well, after talking to him, I mean, I really like K Maxrom's designs. I always have, and that one to me is like looks like his Pelican fixed blade Tanto, but also is evocative a little bit, like he mentioned himself, of the Umnumzan Tanto, with that thumb swale and that wedgy front. I love it, wedgy. You know what I mean, wedge like front. So very nice video, by the way, Dave. Blade Hobby says, I love that Emerson, Bob. Today I started carrying my Protect TR3, then switched to my new Spyderco Gale Bradley. Ooh, okay. Well, so this is a very good Emerson. Like I said, if you ever get one, you just stick in there through the lock stick and all the tribulations. It's like having faith that your teenage pain in the ass is going to grow into a great man or woman. So that's what an Emerson is like. But the Gale Bradley, very nice. And I call that a wardrobe change. The TR3, what a great Protect. I have that one. Always wanted the fish scale version, but I have the fluted handle version, which is excellent too. But interesting wardrobe change. Byron says, trusty, not rusty, ZT0 308 BK and Cobalt push button razor. So Byron carries this Cobalt, which we can assume has a bit of blue on it, right? Blue and white. I think that's the Cobalt colors. Well, Cobalt, yeah, you would imagine it would be blue. But I'm sorry, Jim, can you just go back to him real quick? The 308, that's one that I've been really interested in because I got to say, and this is maybe this is TMI, but in my bathroom in the basement, the Smoky Mountain Knife Works catalog has been open on the counter to the ZT page just randomly. That's where I stopped looking at it, at one point. And whenever I walk in there, my eyes always fall on that 308, which is awesome. And like a lot of people are fond of saying, that's really ZT going back to their roots. Hero Stick says, festive carry today. New Vero Synapse XL. Oh, nice. In red G10. XL in red G10, paired with my new Wee Victorinox Cadet in red A-Locks. Very nice. Love the Cadet. Lost my Cadet somewhere. I don't know. Somewhere traveling. I really love and miss that thing, but it's hard for me to get an A-Locks because I miss the tweezers and the plier and the toothpick. But as for the Vero Synapse XL, this is one knife that I thought getting one Vero was gonna do it for me. But I love this knife so much. I would love to get this in the XL version. This is the small, or this is like the regular size 3-inch Synapse. G-Man W, good to have you here, G-Man. Emerson CQC 10. What's the snake? And the Protect Malibu. I know what the 10 is, but what is snake referred to? Maybe you can let me know in a subsequent comment. Deacon, good to have you here, Deacon. Benchmade Mini Adamas. Okay, I was just at REI the other day getting Christmas gifts. That's a great place to buy Christmas gifts. It's close to work, and I have the points and stuff there. And I got myself this for $20, which is the new Gerber Zilch, which is, I got to say, it's excellent. All they have to do is upgrade the materials, and they have an awesome platform, something similar to the Rat or maybe the Benchmade Bug Out or something. Great knife. But anyway, I was there. I saw that Benchmade Mini Adamas because I haven't seen one, hadn't held one in person yet, and I really did like it. The handle felt great for me. Medium-sized hand, so I could see how giant mitts might just want to go for the full-size Adamas. But Sibbert, I love all of his designs. I'd love to have a custom. Our good friend Ryan has one, and I lust after it. Okay, Michael Morgan says, hey, Towser K, love that thing in 154 cm and purple micarta. What? And the Pena Bronco, nice, in S35 VN, titanium micarta. Tell me this, Michael Morgan, purple micarta, did you get the red one and then dye it blue? Or is this something that Kaiser is offering, or is this an exclusive? You only have those three options. D-Bass says, I was carrying my XM18 3.5 today. Love that knife. I changed my scales. Yeah, so that is exciting. I'm waiting for a tie scale, though. Oh, yeah. I'd love to have that tie scale. But it is fun when you change it. It's kind of like rearranging a room. For the first week, it's really exciting. Max the Maker says, knives in the pocket where the PM2 and the Razzle Cliff both not used. Excellent. Well, and unusual. Max the Maker usually does a lot of hardcore pocket knife tasks around the house. Steel Will Tasso says, Tactical Tasso. Is that the one with the weird lock? Or is that the one with the... what is the Tasso? I'm trying to remember. Hogue Deca. Awesome. Really love it. And that new one looks great. Ocean Ashes. Good to have you here, Ocean Ashes. I don't recognize your name, but I like it, and it's great to have you here, sir. The Hogue Deca is a great knife. I don't have it. I've handled it quite a bit at my local 511 store, and I would go for the compound ground Warncliffe. Beautiful blade. Reminds me a bit of that 0055 from ZT. Rob Keener, good to have you here. Rob, Merry Christmas, Bob. Jim, fellow knife junkies. Well, I, for one, say thank you and Merry Christmas to you, Rob. I carried my Kershaw Knockout in M390. How nice. And Case Trapper with purple jig bone covers. Love it. Say what you will about Case. Their CV, that's their chrome vanadium, their 1095 models. I feel like they pay special attention to. They're always really nice, and the blades are always sharp and pointy, unlike a lot of the stainless that just gets so buffed that I think it dulls the tips and stuff like that. But in any case, I love Case, and even if you hate it, they make great covers and bone. They do great stuff with their look. Vinny said, got the Orion Solaris V2 in yesterday. Oh, interesting. I didn't know there was a V2. Awesome. I liked the first one very much. I had the prototype here for a little while. Lone Wolf carried my ZT 920 TTS Tiger Stripe Les George design. Okay, 920 is a cool knife. That's based after his Harpy model, the Les George custom Harpy. And it's that is one knife I do regret selling. I had that with a great aftermarket pocket clip, an MXG gear pocket clip. It wasn't the Tiger Stripe. I love the look of the Tiger Stripe. I also love the blue and black one they came out with in a limited edition. But I had the plain Jane, all silver. What a great knife. It was loud, though. When you opened it was it had these rounded contoured handles, but they were so hollowed out inside that they just resonated. It was like, whoosh. Yeah, it was, but great knife and good choice. And I love the recurve, and I love that big thumb swell in the back. What a great knife. See, regret. This is regret in motion. K Mason said, carried the Sage 5 M4 mint. Very nice. I love M4 steel. Though my exposure has been limited, it's been very positive. Dub Glock 23. Good to have Dub Glock 23 with us here. Hello, sir. Hello, fellow knifeaholics. Yeah, I know. I'm serious, man. Steve Clever. I'm carrying my TRM Atom today. Very nice. Sporting a new set of red micarta scales. Steve, I've got this out because tonight we're talking about our favorites of 2021, and this is definitely one of my favorite acquisitions of 2021. This is a DLC version, and Marianne Halpern sort of gave me the opportunity to buy it. It's a blem. You can see right here, right by the plunge ground. Oh, damn. It's sharp. Right by the plunge ground, there's an imperfection there in the coating. Okay. Ocean says, yes, new model. Awesome. So there's a blem in the coating there. You can see the 2 dots next to USA. That stands for like factory second. But she sold it to me with these really nice Gicarta, GL Hansen and Son Gicarta handle scales, and then we gave a couple of scales away too. Let's see if that catches focus. Blade Ogre says, carrying the Protec Bren 3. God, I love that knife. That is such a cool knife. Okay, now that I've gotten myself together. Carrying the Protect Bren 3 Boker Air Quaken. That's something, one of one of the many Boker Quakens in red lava flow. That sounds beautiful. The Hogue Deca clip point, the Rough Rider Reserve 011. Oh, large saddle horn. I do love a saddle horn. And found an old German I-brand sodbuster in a family garage. How cool. You're like, it wasn't my family, but it was a garage I found myself in. No, I'm just kidding. But that's very cool. German I-brand sodbuster in a family garage. You know that's not a save queen. First of all, you found it in a garage. Great place to find a knife. Also great, knife to take and clean up usually. And this happened. I bought my dad a Native like many years ago, a Spyderco Native, and it was all stainless steel. It was really cool. It was when the Native was hollow ground and it had a really big swedge, and it was a great knife. And then 15 years later or something, I find it in my parents' garage, like among the tools like that my mom digs in the earth for, like in gardening. And I was like, oh man. And so I just took it. I didn't even tell them. I took it, I brought it home. I couldn't take it apart because it was one of the stainless steel pinned ones, but I cleaned it up as much as I can, sharpened it and oiled it, brought it back to my dad, and was just like, I found your knife. Gave it back to him. Hero Stick says that Mini Adamas and the full size have made a big splash this year. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I think the Mini is, first of all, they contoured the handles. That was a good move because it's a giant knife and it had squared off handles. And it's also kind of boxy in its profile. So I think the contouring was a good move, and the busting it down in size was a good move because it's a beautiful design, a Shane Sibbert design, and it is one of those universally useful designs that deserves to be carried, by many people. And so to shrink it down to that very digestible 3 1/4 inch blade size was a good move. G-Man says the CQC 10 Snake is the Bowie the Bowie recurve, and it's got an opening hole in the blade. You know what I was thinking of? I think I was thinking of the CQC 11, the long drop point, kind of a very plain blade, almost the opposite of that recurve Bowie. That's a cool one. That's a really cool one. I bet that's worth a lot of money. Yes, red and blue, says Michael Morgan. Oh, okay. All right, cool. That's the Deca. Edwin, good to have you here, man. Emerson Viper 5. Oh, I'm cleaning it now. And some bourbon. Haha. Well, here's to you, sir. Some bourbon right here. I'm sure what you're drinking is better than mine. And the only reason I say that is because from your cigars that you post and from your Emerson collection, I have a feeling you're a stickler for fine things. So good to have you here, Edwin, as always. This old sword says, gotta run soon, but here's my vote for knife of the year, Bob. Ooh, Bob Terzawola designed Civivi Tamaishii, fixed blade, traditional tanto, balanced beauty blade, balanced blade beauty, so faithful to his original boot knife. Okay, so Dave had one of these from back in the day. He had an original Bob Terzawola, I believe. Well, I know it was a fixed blade, but I believe it was very similar to this, like this original boot knife. And he sold it like we do. We sell knives to get other knives. And he's been a knife junkie longer than many of us. And so back in the day, he sold a Terzawola to get something else, something cooler, something more desirable to him at the time. And now he's like, that would have been cool to still have. And who among us won't be saying that in the future about pretty much everything we've had to get rid of to get other stuff? So is the nature of the junkie. Dave, have a fine evening and a Merry Christmas. It's great to know you, sir. And I hope you have a wonderful 2022, prosperous, healthy, and fun. So I'll see you then. Until then, have a good night, Dave. Great to have you here, man. M4 Osborne, says Scott N. Okay, so M4 Osborne, are you talking about the what's the big one? The big one. That's the one that I had M4 in and the most experience using. The Contigo. Is that the Contigo you're talking about? The M4 Contigo? What an awesome knife. You would think, I mean, that knife has a lot of problems actually, but overall I really like it. I especially loved the way it cut. It cut really well, and that was unexpected to me. I thought it was going to be more of a wedge like thing, but that knife cut beautifully. And excuse me, I do credit the M4 to a lot of that. Brandon G says Hinderer XM 18 3.5-inch Bowie. Yes. Microtech LUDT. Okay, so that is one I want to trade. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. And a Bantang mini Bowie. So Bantang, I like. I'm sort of mystified by. I don't know much about them, but I know they make extremely sharp knives, and they do a lot of stuff with titanium blades, which is cool, and Pical stuff. But the LUDT, you were talking about the Microtech LUDT. I have two out the fronts, and I want to trade one of them for an LUDT. One of them is a Troodon, 3-inch Troodon double-edged dagger with serrations on one side. The other is a double-edged serrations on one side. Whatchamacallit, Ultratech. I want to get rid of one of those so that I can get an LUDT. I think that stands for something underwater demolition team, right? I want to get that so badly. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful knife. I just love the lines of it. I love the shape of it. And from everything I've heard, it just kicks like a mule and sounds awesome. All right. Sorry about that. Blood Groove says, hi, all. Good to have you here. Blood Groove is in. Let the party begin. Well, all right, sir. Good to have you here, Blood Groove, as always. But I think it's fuller. I think it's fuller. You're like, okay, again, you're going to say that? Patina Turner, good to have you here. ZT0462 today with Blackwash and Brown G10. Things of Pocket Sword 0462. Okay. All right. I'm thinking of the 0452. The 62 is beautiful too. I used to have that. And then again, it's another one that I will wish I had held on to. Hollywood Tactical says the Knife Junkie, the greatest knife of 2021 is the 80 20.5 in spite of its less than stellar execution. Price for materials, question mark. The Shark Lock is the greatest invention since the Buck 110. I like how stridently you take that position. I really do. Here's my 20. I left my 20.5 in the bin, in the arc. I don't know what I call it. The knife thing cabinet, and it is ugly with that shark's foot blade, but I do love that knife. It is a utilitarian knife for sure. And I have a couple of other AUS 10 blades, but they're on things like my Cold Steel Chris, knives I just actually don't really use. So I've used the 20.5 quite a bit just for, tasks, a lot of bamboo sharpening at one point. And it was a great knife. It's a great knife. This, of course, I like better. But the Shark Lock, to your point, is excellent and amazing. Michael Morgan says Santa only visits those who hit the like button. Oh my God, this is true. This is true, Michael. Thank you, because you're saving a lot of people right here. You're saving a lot of anguish. I mean, who wants to get to the tree and find a bunch of coal? No, you want to find a bunch of steel. And the way you do that is to hit the like button, of course. Blood Groove says, carried my new carbon fiber TIE fighter today. It even has carbon fiber on the blade. Oh, that's cool. Darth Vader would be proud. So, Blood Groove, I take it you're a carbon fiber guy. I am coming around. At first I really loved it, but I loved it the way you love a super steel you know nothing about. I was like, oh, this handle material is like the thing. And this is one of the few. These are some of the few carbon fiber I have because I just don't care for the way it looks. But with all of the cool carbon fibers they've been coming out with the swirls and the marbling and the this and the that, I'm loving all of that. This sort of regular tight weave is a little bit anal. It's like Bach. And believe me, I'm not a classical music aficionado at all, but I do know that Bach is, I prefer Beethoven. That's all I know. Bach is very regimented, and it looks like this. It sounds like this visually. I like the Sturm und Drang and the cloudy swirliness of other carbon fibers. And that's where I'm going to stop. Benchmade 940 Osborne. Oh, okay. In 940 by Blade HQ. Very nice. I had the 940, the original one. Got rid of that. I would love to have a really slick 940 in the collection, just to have it as like an ode. Blood Groove says it's fantastic, and being carbon fiber, very light for its size. Oh yeah, and Brian Ty's knives are just so unique looking. I mean, they are, you can definitely pick them out of a lineup for sure. D-Bass, regardless, the 20.5 is still amazing in my opinion, and it's worth the price just for the shark lock. Yeah, I mean, my oh, it's over there. My 20.5, what I paid like 115 for. Is that what they're going for? Something like that. Absolutely worth that. And probably worth more than that. Do I love the gray grivery or grivery? I've been seeing other people and coveting their micarta scales. I think I'll get something aftermarket for it. Either that or I'll get another one and then with the clip point blade and get aftermarket for that. Lone Wolf hitting the like button now. Thank you, Lone Wolf. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it greatly. I'm not sure if you told me what you were carrying, Lone Wolf. If you did, I apologize for not remembering. Hero Stick says, with so many budget offerings vastly improving the materials they are working with, the materials do seem an odd choice for such a killer design. What were we talking about? I'm going to get there in a second. Yes. Oh, yes. I agree. I think we were talking about this. But yeah, maybe it's proof of concept. That's what I keep thinking. Like, let's see if people like this. And then if they do, we have plan B and C to upgrade to Micarta and S35 or whatever. T-Bass. Bob, how do you like the non-slotted 80/20? You ever wish you got the slotted one instead? Funny you should ask. No. That was one of the okay, so when I was presented with 6 of these to choose from in a photograph sent to me by the great Lavender Pants 86, I chose this. I did like the red handle, the maroonish handle, but I chose this because it was one of 2 blades without the slot. The other one was like a neon orange, something or yellow, I can't remember, but something just not me, something I wouldn't want to live with. So I chose this, not for the color of the scales primarily, though I do like them, but for the lack of the slot. And that is strictly visual to me because when I look at an 80/20 with the slot, visually the slot shortens the blade and throws off the visual blade to handle ratio. That doesn't mean it's changed the blade to handle ratio, but it changes it visually with my eyes. Which is long for I'm nuts. So funny you should ask that, but it was very on purpose. Got the 80/20.5 and find it too thin. I'm going to return it. Max, what do you find thin about it? You mean the blade or just the handle? I mean, it is in a very thin package. I think maybe you need to keep your eye out for an 80/20 and save up and get one of these because, and when I say that, that's not to imply that anyone can't just drop the money to get one of these in a hot minute, but most of us can't. And most of us do have to, watch their shekels in order to get stuff like this or sell other stuff that you have to get knives like this. So Max, I might say, because this is a chunky boy. I mean, like, and I know from what you've told us in the past, you do work with your knives and you might be gripping this tight hammer grip like this a lot. And the ergonomics on this are so nice. And it is fat. Or maybe you go for a cold steel 80/10 or 15. So those have a lot of the same ergonomics. Gary, good to have you here, sir. I got my Shiro 111 with purple. Oh, with oh, excuse me, I'll be right back. With purple carbon fiber last month for my birthday. Well, first of all, Gary, I see that you like purple. I see it in your avatar, and I also like purple. But that aside, happy birthday to you, sir. And a Shirogorov 111 with purple carbon fiber sounds absolutely stunning. When I was talking before about the marbled carbon fibers and stuff like that, Dave loaned me his Civivi Elementum button lock, and it had some blue swirled into the carbon fiber, and it was gorgeous. And that's a $80 knife. I would imagine that Shirogorov's purple carbon fiber has to be stunning. Jared Strasbaugh, good to have you here, Jared. Got aftermarket blue canvas micarta scales for my okay, where? Oh, from DLT Trading. I'm like, where? Tell me. You're like, I did. Game changer. I can imagine. I mean, I don't mind the feel of the gray grivery, but the look is a little, institutional. Kevin Moore, good to have you here, Kevin. Evening, fine knife folk. A bit late, but happy to be here. Bob, Jim, howdy from Texas, home of free carry. Well, man, I have here. This is for you, Kevin. We're talking Texas. This is the knife I keep on my desk. It's a beautiful Western Bowie, or maybe you Texas probably say Bowie. I'm from Ohio, so I say Bowie. But this beauty I got from my brother. He bought it at a pawn shop, and someone had replaced the handle with bone. I don't know what kind of bone it is, and I'm not going to ask. I'm assuming it's deer bone, but they bent down this brass quillion, to keep it closer to your hand when you're fighting. So I thought this was pretty cool. Anyway, to me, this is probably my most Texas knife. So Kevin, cheers, and here's to you, sir. Brandon G says, I could be remembering wrong, but I think 3 more steels are going to be offered in the 20.5 and 22 3V, and I don't recall the other. I know there have been whispers on the wind of Magna Cut making its way onto the 20.5, though I'm not sure. It might be the 20. I was kind of thinking it was the 80-20, but I know he's already had it featured Magna Cut on some 80-20s. So I'm just not sure. Ordered the new Kubi KU 344 Momentum today. Okay, so this is a 3.4-inch front flipper with thumb studs, D2, like $40. Nice. I've been hearing, and I say I've been hearing, you've been hearing it too because you watch the same people. Let's see, Jared Neve and Stasa. By the way, I just had a great conversation with Stasa, Stasa 23, and that'll be on June 2nd. That'll be up. But I wanted to talk to him about his favorites of 2021. And Kubi came up, and the same thing with Jared. Jared did a best of video where he was talking about the company that did the most consistent this and that and the best this and that, and Kubi won it for the best or the most consistent D10. So Kubi has my attention. I mean, they used to seem really cheap and kind of mall ninja-y, but they have really changed over the past few years, and their stuff looks really awesome. January 2nd. Yes, January 2nd for Jared Neve. Hero Stick says, and thank you, Jim, for putting that up. Hero Stick says, I'm going to begin supporting knife rights. Automatics are not currently legal to carry up here in Washington state. I've been dying for an LUDT all year. Yes, the legal to carry, legal to own, and then just I don't get into trouble with cops frequently. Like all of those things kind of swirl into this issue for a knife collector. And for me, I live in a very restrictive state. Hasn't always been, and I don't think it always will be. But it is currently in that state, so I don't really carry what I've got. Except my keychain. I do have the little tiny Launch 9 on there. But other than that, I hear you. I think you should support knife rights. Hero Stick says, just check DLT for the 80 20.5 scales. They've got a flood. Good selection. Thank you, Hero. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Though, do I want to do that with the shark's foot? Which I'm seriously considering changing the blade and grinding it down and turning it into more of a sax. I mentioned that a while ago, and Alex from the Knife Box channel said, "Don't, you'll fuck it up." And I was like, "You don't know me, man. I've got a very steady hand. Excuse the French." Uh, no offense meant. Kevin Moore says, "Beautiful Bowie." Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Um, that was one that I really hinted strongly to my brother that if he ever had an inkling like it wasn't something he needed in his life, that I would adopt it. He got the clue and ended up giving it to me one year for my birthday, which I very much appreciated. I think I said something like, "Hey Vic, if you're ever at a pawn shop again and you see a really awesome Bowie, especially with a bone handle, like let me know and then buy it for me and I'll pay you." And he was like, "Okay, Bob." He ain't no dummy. And I'm not very subtle. Hollywood Tactical says, "Knife Junkie, why do you say that brass guard was bent down on that Bowie? Is that the style of the Bowie guard to alternate up and down?" Yes, it is. It's an S curve Bowie, but here I'll show you. But this in particular was bent down. Here, I'll put it here. You'll have a better here. Let me bring it up. You can see right there. There's a bend. This bend here should not exist. It should come out straight and then bend down, kind of like it does here. And I have tried. I put this in my vise once and started to hit it with a hammer, and then I was like, I'm just gonna leave it. I think the best way would probably be to get a big pipe and like a big plumbing pipe and put it over here and then crank down on it with leverage. But I don't want to mess it up. And it's not like I use this that much, and it's sort of crowds your finger, but it's not bad. And it just adds to the quality, or not the quality, the character. Kubi 322 is in the running for my budget knife of the year. Really impressed. All right, let's see. Let's see what this is. Kubi 322. Let me look this up. Oh, let's see here. This is okay. So now in the movie, it would be close-ups on my face and my fingers and the sweat rolling down as I try to type, because no one wants to look at people typing. Oh yes, okay, the 322. Right, 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 right. Okay, so the Kubi 322. Thank you, Jim. This thing has been getting just. This is like a Kubi's version of the Beluga. It's just been blowing up. People are just nuts about this knife. It's a 3.4-inch knife, which luckily means I don't have to get it because it's not my wheelhouse technically. I mean, I wouldn't get it because it doesn't really interest me. Other Kubis do. This isn't Mall Ninja enough for me. This is a little too practical. But for those of you who love, the Spyderco Shaman, or practical usable blades, this thing looks awesome. I gotta say, it really does look pretty great. Brandon G says, "Love my LUDT. Fires hard. Cannot control blade deployment with your hand for quieter deployment." Oh, I'm sorry. Can control blade deployment. Right, right. All right. I don't have any automatics out with me, but you press the button, but leave your fingers on it, and then just sort of, and then it clicks out. Such a nice looking knife. So this LUDT was, let's see, great cutting geometry and nice crown spine. So the LUDT, something underwater demolition team. Can't remember what the L stands for. But this was a switchblade made for, underwater demolition guys, SEALs, I guess, and the like. So it's meant to fire underwater, so you can cut the fuse, when you can blow up the ship, Oh, well, I'm sure you've all heard this dad joke, so I'm not going to say it. Bloodgroove said, "Bob, what did you think of the Weed and Company slip joint by Cooper Cutlery? Soon, okay, all right. So Blood Groove, a couple of things. I for a short while had it on a list, and I took it off. I'm all for the weed motif. I loved the pot leaf shield. I'd love to have a knife with a pot leaf shield on a green bone thing, green bone cover. It just didn't look. It looked kind of chintzy to me, I gotta say. And this is um, coming from the guy Cooper. Cooper, I think is his name, and he resuscitated Queen Cutlery. I think I'm getting some of my facts. I'm misremembering some of my facts, but I kind of liked it. I liked the idea of it, and then I saw Knife Thoughts review of it, and it left me kind of. It looks a little big for my slip joint taste, and it seemed a little rushed. It seemed like they were relying on the concept. Oh, it's a slip joint, and it's a marijuana motif, and we're gonna call it Weed and Co. But they have all these other like I know they have all these other covers without green that seem weird. I don't know. Something about it seems a little off to me. But I wouldn't mind having a knife with that motif. I think that'd be cool. I like the idea of different shields and stuff like that. And so Artie Bands, good to have you here, sir. That's a funny name. Most expensive knife of the year is okay. Let's see. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I have a lot of I have a lot of expensive knives. That's not what I mean. I mean I spent more money than I should have this year. How's that? Because I got a number of custom fixed blade knives, and they they all costing a pretty penny. The most expensive knife I have, I did not buy. That's for sure. Here's one that I loved from this year. What do you think of this? Oh, LUD stands for Large Underwater Demolition Team. Thank you, Jim. That's cool. And that's a 3.4-inch blade. So maybe he should have called it the MUDT for Medium Underwater Demolition Team and made a larger 4-inch version. But hey, so this is the Dirk Pinkerton designed street beat. What the hell is this thing called? This is the Main Street. That's right. This is the Main Street, mislabeled the mini Little Main Street. Now, the Little Main Street is a sub 3-inch version of this, which also looks quite nice. D-Bass says, I was just looking at the 80 20.5 scales of DLT. Someone please refresh me on what the main difference is between linen and canvas micarta. I will let you know right now. Linen has a tighter weave than canvas and a smaller weave. Here, I'll show you with some. Here is a canvas micarta, and you can see the weave, and you can feel the weave. It's prominent. And then let's see. Let me find a better. Oh, hey, here's a linen micarta. And it's so fine you can barely see the weave. Let's see. Also, it's not very easy to machine. Let me see if I can with the machines I have anyway. So this is linen micarta. Linen, just think of the fabric. If you've ever painted a canvas before, you can feel and see the texture on a canvas. And then here, of course, is burlap. That's got an even thicker, fatter weave with more space between the threads. So in order of thickness or coarseness, it goes burlap micarta with the most air going between the weave with the thickest fibers. You have canvas micarta with a tight weave but thick fibers, and then you have linen micarta with a very tight weave with very thin fibers. They're all grippy. They're all grippy. James Moore says top 5 for 2021 for me. Ooh, God, this is gonna be good. All right. Thorburn L36M, Deshorn Mvubu, Shiro F3 NS CD, Snex Vision R, and of course the new Lespect. Okay, so the Thorburn I know, the Lespect I know, and the Snex I know. I know I've seen the Shiro and the Deshorn. I just can't remember those. But James is a man of I mean, these knives are I mean, to say he's a man of taste is it's low hanging fruit, but it's interesting because it's varied taste. If you look at the Thorburn, there's a lot of, I don't want to say ornamentation, but it's a very, it almost seems, I don't want to say jeweled either, but seems like a very, very refined touch from what I've seen from the pictures. And then you look at the snecks and it's highly engineered titanium, futuristic, slick with a lot of engineering innovation. And then you look at that Lespect, which you posted today, and I had to push back the envy. It's a weird combination of sleek and traditional and modern, and that guy's a genius. And I've tried to get him on the show, and I'm gonna try some more. We're in communication for a while, but I gotta get him back on, or not back on, but get back on his radar. KF Boston, good to have you here, KF Boston. Be together, KF Boston. Hey yo, happy Christmas, y'all. Happy Christmas to you, sir. Steve Clever, yes, the KU 322 is in my top 5 for 2021 for sure. Though I do not have the flipper delete pile. What's that? Though I do have it in my flipper delete pile. I got you. That's cool. That's a great way to modify your knives without really changing. Well, that's actually not true. I was going to say without changing the character of them. You're radically changing the character, but I don't know. It's meaningful, I guess. Instead of just like, I like the way it looks. Michael Morgan, linen is usually smoother. Canvas has more texture. Yeah, just by the very fact that the fibers, like the threads that are woven together to make linen, are finer and they're tighter together in both the Y and the X axis, just crammed together. So it's a smoother. But I mean, you know, a lot of it also has to do with the epoxy in there, right? So yeah, but you're going to get more texture. Just if you were to take linen micarta, a flat piece, and then canvas micarta, a flat piece, and sand it with the same piece of sandpaper, and the same amount of times, and get to the the linen would be smoother just because the fibers are smaller. Kevin says, "Hey Bob, I bought my first Tucson Tepe design burlwood. Nice flipper. Very excited to see it get here." Kevin, I do not have a Tucson, but I have been looking at that Tucson 300. Is that what it is? The TS 300. It is. It's one that has Jared Neve has and has featured in a number of videos, and then recently Mike Emler borrowed it and reviewed it. It's got a very nice upswept clip point blade, very broad flat ground blade with a carbon fiber bolster, and then a burlap micarta handle scale. It's a beautiful knife. I think that will be my first Tucson, but I hope it gets here quickly. I really do hope it gets here. There was a box my wife got me, a knife from one of the people I recently interviewed. Very, very, very excited for that. And I just saw that it arrived today. I just saw the box. I saw the return address, and I was impressed it got here. So hopefully your Tucson Tepe design will arrive post haste. K Mason said, "I heard from a descendant of Jim Bowie that the proper pronunciation is like a boat bow. Bowie. See, none of us are right. Bowie. I'm not. I'm sticking with Bowie. I've been saying it for 50 years. I'm sticking with Bowie." Hag 90. Good to have you here, Hag. Hi, Bob, he says, clapping his hands. Well, hello to you. I'm assuming you're a he. I don't know with Hag. Maybe you're not. But whoever you are, whatever you are, it is so good to have you here and ready to talk knives. 9198 David, good to have you here. My Kaiser Grazioso just arrived 5 minutes ago. Last buy of 2021, probably. That's awesome, man. What time is it? Where you must be in a different time zone. Though they do drop, you'll get a package dropped from Amazon at the oddest hours. Hey, seems logical. Good to have you here. Yeah, burlap is a coarser feel to linen for sure. But out of the three, which is more brittle to chipping when dropped? I don't think that was ever covered by anyone. Interesting. It's not that brittle. Well, I think it might be more brittle than G10 in thin sheets. But I would have to say this is just spitballing, but I would imagine that it would go in order of coarseness. Least brittle because smallest component fiber, component parts, and tightly packed, and then going up to largest component parts or fibers, loosest packed. So I would imagine this would damage, though I think it would stay together because those fibers. But I think this would chip first, because if you think about it, all of those voids between all the fibers are epoxy resin. So if you have larger voids, there's more epoxy to chip in any one given spot, so I would imagine. So now I'm going to have to go drop. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll drop one of these in my parking garage at work, or in the bar sink in my basement or something, and chip it, and I'll let you know, because I'm sure I'll do it. Steve says, I've been throwing quite a few knives in my flipper delete pile here recently. That's cool. Hero sticks, including a Micarta Valona. Just another example, or as another example, Micarta Valona. Micarta, interesting knife company, doing some really cool stuff. Hey, that's a cool water bottle. You got your logo on it. Nice way to self-advertise it when you're out and about. That's right. Have you heard of the TheKnifeJunkie? It's just a sticker. I put stickers on everything. That doesn't go away. But yeah. Hey, have you heard of this podcast? No? It's fantastic. It's terrific. Terrific is my Hollywood producer word. Oh, it's terrific. You're going to love it. It's just terrific. It's terrific. Blood Groove says, K Mason, interesting to hear the proper pronunciation of Bowie from an actual family member. Guess I've really confused everyone by pronouncing it that way. yeah, exactly. Jim Bowie. People be like, no, really. It's Bowie. Dude, look at my water bottle. It's Bowie. And they'll be like, okay, well, the water bottle, and then they'll look at the pocket clip and they'll triangulate and they'll say, well, three things. He must be right about the Bowie. K Mason says, it's like the telephone game. Indeed. Yeah, it is. It is. That's what we're playing. Hag 90 says, new knife in Elmax has arrived. Okay. All right, Hag. I'll play your game. What is it? It came in Elmax. What is it? We want to know the shape of that Elmax. Seems logical says, I would imagine it the way you did too, burlap being more chippy than the linen. Yeah, because it's presenting more chippable material to the world, D-Bass says, Bob, what steel is your rock wall in? XHP. I've been on the fence between 20CV and XHP, but I'm leaning towards getting the XHP. Interesting. Mine is in XHP, and I love XHP, and I'm going to be 100% honest, D-Bass. From what I know, I love it. I've had a good deal of experience with XHP through the Cold Steel XHP, and then my Les George VSEP, which I have and use quite a bit, or it's one of my user knives, is XHP. I really do like it. I like XHP. I like 154 CM. I like S35, because I know that I'm good at sharpening all three of those too. M390 and 20 CV, I'm always kind of like, maybe I've even dialed that in a little bit, but I don't know. I like XHP, unless you need the 20 CV. It's funny. I've heard this. I did not come up with this philosophy, but it seems to make sense to me, D-Bass, and maybe this will help you in your selecting of this. But I've heard people say that it makes more sense to have the super steels like 20 CV and M390 on small EDCs like this. knives that you actually do pull out and use. You know, you might be walking around with with this or something, some cool knife that you have that you might not, or a switchblade or something you might not want to bust out in public. This is probably the knife you're more likely to bust out in public. So it is also fair to say it will probably get more use than other knives, which also makes it fair to say it probably makes most sense to have the most edge retention on the knives that you use the most. And so if the little knives are the ones you use the most, it makes most sense to have the super steels on these kind of blades. So I don't know if I've totally muddied the waters there. I'm not sure. I love the XHP. Mine is an XHP. I've never used it and thought, gee, I need 20 CV instead. So, well, I don't know. I like the XHP. Let me know what you decide. Now that I've really confused you. Hag90 says real steel Kiridashi. I do love a Kiridashi. I'm trying to think of the real steel Kiridashi. Kiridashi is the, well, it's kind of like this. It's a sort of a Japanese Wharncliffe utility knife. I know this is a stylized combative version. And actually, the Kiridashi doesn't have that hump. It's kind of like a straight triangle from the tip to the handle. Bob is a hipster vandal, probably slapping his TheKnifeJunkie stickers on stop signs. That's right. Well, that's so funny you should say that, because I was doing, like I said, I had a Goodfellas day today. I had to bring the silencers to Tommy, and then I had to pick up the guns and then go and get the drugs. I'm just kidding, of course. But I had a day of running errands, Christmas errands, and I had a TheKnifeJunkie. I got a new phone, and I'm giving my daughter my old phone. And my old phone had a TheKnifeJunkie sticker just between the clear case and the phone itself. So I had that sticker still with the backing on it in my pocket. And I'm going to all these places, and I'm like, I should stick this right here. And I'm like, what am I? 12 years old? I'm going to go stick a sticker on, in the Apple store. They're going to know right away who did it. It was me. It was the old man trying to get out. But yeah, hipster vandal. I think I could cultivate that identity. Hero Stick says, I discovered a new Micarta expression of the year called sisal. Instead of linen or burlap, the maker I found used various colored twines and epoxy resin. Oh, that sounds cool. A sisal, like sisal rope, like the kind of rope that Cedric and Ada does his tests on. That's all sisal rope. Sunbun Bradley, good to have you here. I bought the Tor Field 2.0 in Battleship Gray. That looks so cool, with walnut handles, ooh, and dynamic fluting with copper scales. And I really like it in CPM 154. Merry Christmas. Hey, man, Merry Christmas. That is a nice self-gift. Tor, very cool company. I don't know. I mean, it's a former Marine, and they do all their stuff in-house. Had some interesting correspondences with them, and they must have gotten a new marketing guy, because man, it was like I just need to get back, and they need to get back in touch with me. Tor Knives, cool stuff. And the reason I say they have to get back in touch with me is we were corresponding back and forth, and then it was their turn to email me and say, yeah, we'd love to come on your show. And anyway, we're gonna have him on sometime. Hag90 says, I also have the Tucson 92 and the TS 265 coming soon. I've been trying to find a good EDC fixed blade. Oh man, here's a great one. This is the Steingraber Performance Knives Shark. This is very EDCable. As you can see, it's it's pretty small. It's non-threatening. If you needed it to be threatening, it could be great, because everything about it is neutral except for the wickedly sharp and thin blade. This thing is an awesome EDC fixed blade. You're saying, Bob, that's not readily available. Well, I hear you on that. But maybe you could check out this guy too. Dylan Grace of DG Blade Co. makes these cool little, he makes a lot of different knives, and some of them are quite big, but these very cool little discreet pocket scalpels that come in this leathery kydex-y kind of, he treats leather in such a way that it ends up being like kydex. Like, listen to this. It locks in there, and you could hold it upside down and the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's a long quest, and there are a lot of videos, and all of my EDC fixed blades are more bent towards combatives, just because, like I said, that's where my interest lies, not necessarily where my utility lies. Speaking of utility, one more, you also might want to check out the very talented and probably not too affordable for too much longer BGM Knives. He's got a whole bunch of different models. He'll also work with you on custom models and for EDC fixed blades, and they're custom, and they're very reasonably priced. And this is a hollow ground that is, it's like a straight razor. It's so freaking thin. And then these giant sharpening notches, you could, it's so thin behind the edge, you could sharpen all the way up to the top of that sharpening notch, and it would still be wickedly sharp and thin behind that edge and good for slicing. So you might consider BGM Knives. Check him out. Kevin Moore says, curious, I've just purchased the new Work Sharp Knife Sharpener Elite set. I'm not a great sharpener, but hope it helps. Watched Jared Neves recently used it. Very cool. Yeah, he's a guy I would definitely look to. I mean, I mention him all the time because he's rescued a number of my knives, and he does it freehand, you know. But he understands steel, he understands sharpening, and he's a cool guy. You could reach out to him. Brandon G. Bob, do you use the ditch pick for everyday cutting tasks or reserve it strictly for a defensive role? Strictly for a defensive role, Brandon, because when I have that on me, I have several other things on me. But yeah, I mean, you could use it for, it would be a great, you could slice a sandwich in half with great, without any trouble. You could actually, if you were in the sort of job where you were cutting rope, this would be great for pull cuts. It's so thin, it's so sharp, it's very flexible. It's like perfectly treated and tempered. You could use this as a practical knife, especially I would say if you had it just one edge sharpened. But that handle is contoured in such a way, and the Peel Ply G10 is grippy, and it's not going anywhere. So you could use that. But yeah, I keep it on me as a defensive option, because though I have plenty of guns and I like guns, and I even have the right to carry them and have all the paperwork, it's just, I don't know. And it's not a moral opposition. Obviously, it's totally a practical thing on my end. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. I could. Well, whatever. We'll talk about that another time. Steve Clover said, the Valona is not just fantastic, it's spectacular. That's awesome. I waited on getting an Acri until he ran a satin batch. He made a few the other day, and now I have to get one of those coming hero sticks. That sounds awesome. The Valona. I just like the way it sounds. Seems Logical says, Sissel rope always reminds me of Pete from Cedric and Ada. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah, that was his medium, and that's tough stuff to get through. Blade Hobby. Have a good night, everyone. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Blade Hobby, Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you, sir. Again, thanks for the great deal, and I hope you have a wonderful, warm time with your family, man. Take care. D-Bass says, I've decided to get the XHP. Good man. But did I tell you why 20 CV is superior? No, I'm just kidding. I have a bunch of knives in 20 CV. Excellent reason. And none in XHP. XHP is also not commonly used as 20 CV. Yeah, XHP, Carpenter steel. I guess they do a lot of other kind of steels and have limited their blade steel capacity. I think that's why Cold Steel stopped using XHP and went to S35 VN, because they could just get more. Blood Groove, being new to the knife community, I have 7 subscribers, but when I grow up, I want to be on the Knife Junkie podcast. Well, Blood Groove, I don't know if I'm subscribed to you, but I will certainly subscribe to you hereafter. And like an old man, I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper and then do it afterward. Blood Groove. So Blood Groove, what kind of things are you interested in doing? Knife reviews, close up, like what are you interested in shooting, and what's your taste in knives? I'm interested. Hag 90, that leather Kydex, mind blowing. Yeah, it is really sick the way he does it. Actually, he does. Sorry, not to use your term, sick. He has a number of videos posted on Instagram where he shows. He does a lot of cool videos, kind of high speed of him making his knives, but also of the sheaths. And it goes through a lot of different processes. This starts as a raw piece of, cowhide or rawhide leather, I guess, cowhide. And he water fits it and presses it and dyes it and shrinks it. It does all sorts of shit to it. It just makes it beautiful. But look at this. I mean, it's not a standard leather pouch sheath. Not that you would want to wear this upside down, but if you had to, you could. You wouldn't want to jump out of an airplane with it like that, but D-Bass says 20 CV will be more corrosion resistant and hold an edge better, but XHP is tougher and easier to sharpen. Yep. I think toughness doesn't get enough consideration in pocket knives. I think we always consider toughness when we talk about fixed blades and that kind of thing, but I heart CPM S110V. Good to have you here. What's up, everybody? He says, well, we're just talking all sorts of important knife issues, man. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. On the Edge 72. Does that mean you were born in 1972? I'm just curious. I'm late to the party. What's up, knife junkies? Did I miss the knife fight? No, you haven't missed the knife fight. That's going to be that actually tonight's knife fight is not what I intended, but we're going to do that anyway. Bob will use the ditch pick as a toothpick for us. Funny you should say that, because I'm not going to right now, because I don't want anything stupid to happen live. But who doesn't use, if they don't have a Swiss Army knife, who doesn't use the blade on them in the in the bathroom? We all do. And actually, this would be excellent because it's very thin. I think that's what you're getting at. Blame Dexter, good to have you here. I got the Microtech stitch today. All right, so we were talking about the knife fight. We're not there yet, but when we get there, it's going to be the US-made Microtech SOCOM Elite versus the Chinese-made Microtech SOCOM Bravo. Hag 90, Bob, do you practice C-Lot? No, I did a lot of Jeet Kundo that had some C-Lot, but it was mostly Inosanto Lacoste Kali and Pikiti Tersha Kali. But we did a little bit of C-Lot. I always found the footwork weird for me. But I love Puder Kapala. I think that's C-Lot, which is my favorite takedown. I'm not sure if that's C-Lot. JN said, hello, fellow knife types. Well, JN, good to have you here. But one thing about C-Lot before I continue is if you want to learn karambit, C-Lot's the way to do it. And if you want to use a karambit and carry it and really be, so you want to get some proper training. Otherwise, get something else for self-defense is what I think personally. On the Edge 72 says 72 was my football number for 8 years. He's like, I was born I was born in 1985. All right, well, you're still an old man at this point. I mean, that's funny because I always thought, for a long time, I was like, oh, people born in the 80s are like kids, and then people born in the 90s are like kids, and then people born in the 1980 85. You're getting up there, man. You're getting up there. No, I'm just kidding. Mike Flamian, good to have you here, Mike. Hi, Bob, he says. Well, hello, sir. Hello, Mike. Solid. Okay, so as we move on, I want to bring up a couple of oldies but goodies because I didn't get anything new this week. And when I don't get something new, it makes me reflect on the things I already have. And I've carried this a couple of times this week. And this is This is a good one to carry. I love this knife. This, of course, is the large Espada from Cold Steel. And I just wanted to talk about the Cold Steel Espada for a minute or two. I never got the small one, or the medium, I guess. The medium Espada, put your hand too far away from the blade, and with a big sort of area like this, and then the handle did this too quickly. So it was, I always felt like your hand was slipping off the back of that knife. So I thought that was kind of a design misstep. But I like Sayok and Silat and Pakiti Tershikali. Has really changed the way I see blade design. Yeah, most definitely. Like some of the angles of the blades here, some of the handles to the some of the angles of the handles to the blades, you start to see that a lot of the Filipino blades have these downward angles. It's like similar to kukris in the way that the blade design is doing a lot of the work for you, that profile, and just sort of supplementing your natural arcing joints. Yeah, my first son was born 3 weeks ago, bringing on the gray hair. Oh man, that'll do it quickly. That'll do it quickly. First son, congratulations. I'm not sure if that's your first child altogether. If it is, let me tell you, Daddy-o. Okay, this is what I remember. I remember after having, it was maybe after 3 weeks or something, like talking to my wife and being like, I just realized, like, this is never going back to normal. This is normal now. She's like, I know, I had that same realization. And well, there you go. You just got some instant meaning in your life. Blame Dexter says, for some reason, the new knife thing made me think of this. On the Finch website, you can look at upcoming knives. There is some good stuff coming, and the name of the knives are also really cool. They do have some cool stuff coming. They have one coming, Blame Dexter. I'm not sure if this is one you're thinking of, or even if this is on the website. They've shown it on Instagram a few times, but it's their ode to a Italian stiletto. You know, here's like the ode to the classic Western Bowie, even Bowie, even though it's real little. And so they have this one knife they're designing that looks really cool. That's, a double quillioned sort of stiletto style thing. So yes, Blame Dexter, I'm with you. I think they came out with 3 or 4 really kick-ass knives this year. No doubt next year, more to come for sure. Absol 1337, good to have you here. How's that? Oh, MW Steelwork knives holding up. I just had it out, but I don't think I have it out anymore. It's holding up great. Ordered my dad a new. So this is. Bought him an MW Steelwork Sparrow today for Christmas. Stoked to see it. Okay, so his knives are really, really nice. I got this is Marcus Williamson. He sent me one. It's a little Warncliffe fixie, and it is gorgeous. And I've been watching he's been doing a lot of kitchen knives, like I think leading up to the Christmas season, and they look beautiful. This guy, we had him on Thursday Night Knives once, and his connection was so awful. We couldn't have a conversation, but this guy is talented, and I love what he's doing. So great. That'll be a great Christmas gift, that Sparrow, because that's his bird and trout, I think. Seems Logical says, I really enjoy the look of the Southeastern Asian blades. Nepal, Indonesia, Philippines, and India have some really interesting looking knives and swords. Let me show you something. So let's see, 2 of them here. I want to show you these. I want to show you these 2 knives for 2 different reasons. This is the one that my dad got for me from a Filipino Marine on a Filipino Marine base. He made this, I think, and he had a bunch of them on offer. But it's a bolo, and it's nothing fancy. You can see it's been made from like a truck spring, and it's got water buffalo scales here, and the scales don't even fit the full length of the tang. The tang stops here. Scales keep going. Anyway, I hacked pumpkins with this. It glided through. I was shocked. This is an amazing. It looks rough, but it is ready and it's very sharp. And so cool knife and cool story behind it. My dad got it from this Filipino Marine. Anytime he travels, I'm like, give me a knife, even still at 50 years old. And then this, so when I lived in New York City, there used to be these great flea markets on 6th Avenue. I'm quite sure they're not there anymore. There's no way on earth they're there anymore, but they were great. And you could buy all sorts of cool stuff, old furniture, like mid-century modern anything you want at these flea markets. And one of them was actually housed in a parking garage. It was multi-level, but it would be Saturday and Sunday. And it was usually after my martial arts class. It was kind of in that neighborhood I would wander through. And that's how I got like this Chris here and the barong over on this side. Those were bringbacks from World War II by GIs. So was this Chris my brother gave me. And so was this Talibong right here that used to be my dad's. So anyway, on 6th Avenue, I picked this one up, and this is the most this is the creepiest knife in my collection, to be honest. This was somebody's do everything knife, somebody's work knife. It looks like they replaced the handle with like a piece of furniture or something. It's just gnarly. And I remember, and it's got that downward angle, we're talking about here. And I remember showing this to someone that I used to know who was, she was very, very, very smart, but also kind of like spiritual sort of. And she liked my knives and all that, and, had no problem with them or anything like that. But when she saw this, she was like, oh, this has done some bad things. And I was like, yeah. And to me, it was just her reaction to it gave it way more credibility. It made me like the knife even more. I don't know if that's true or not, but I liked that detail. Blame Dexter says, yep, that's one of the ones I'm referencing. Awesome looking. Can't wait to get my hands on it. Yeah, man. Well, so many knives. All right. Hero Stick says, I've been hoarding and not opening Finch knives all year. When my Drifter and Takuna arrive, I'll have all of their current models and we'll open all in one greedy, blissful indulgence. Hero Sticks, man, I applaud your discipline. You're reminding me a bit of Bryce, Blade Junk. Geez. I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, he only keeps 12 knives in his collection. And dude, I got to say, I really respect that. So I hope your orgy of Finch opening is just all that you've been building it up to be. Michael says, for 2021 models, I purchased my favorites are Kubi 322 Best Tech Operator. That's a cool one. Kaiser Towser K. That's cool too. And the 2021 variants of the Aryan and the Penguin. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So I will see you all of those, and I'll start laying down some of mine. One of mine this year was definitely the 8020. Love that knife. Byron says, Bob, I really like your interview with Steve Ryan. Do you have any of his designs besides karambits? If so, your favorite? Okay. No, I don't. I would. He said he's going to send me a package with a couple of knives for me to check out. And I bothered him once about it. And then, I don't need to nag before Christmas. And then after Christmas, I'll nag some more. He's got one that he posted some pictures of today that was really cool. And it was it looked like a sickle shaped blade, kind of like a Gnunting or something like that. I really like that. But I also like the knife. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a large influence in the one that became the production CRKT Model 7, I think it's called. That one's a beauty too. Red Astrachan, good to have you here. The whole parking lot on 6th. Yes, that whole parking lot on 6th Avenue on the north side of the street. That was awesome. I got no. Oh, okay. My wife got me a wakizashi from that one. Everything else was from the outdoor, but you know what I'm talking about. The outdoor parking lots too. That's where I got the Filipino blades. Awesome, man. I bet that's not happening anymore. But maybe we could ask Ray. I don't know. Are you still in New York, sir? Let me know. Seems logical says, I love that your knives have stories. You know, yeah, I mean, okay, so even just the knives from my case, like just the pedestrian ones have stories. And maybe I do that because it makes me attached to them and then makes it harder to get rid of them. Newman Outdoors, Newman. Good to have you here. Hey, Bob, he says. Hey, Newman Outdoors, Newman. Newman Outdoors. There was a place called that in Cleveland, I believe. Is that someone I know from Cleveland? Hag 90. Bob the Knife Junkie is such an awesome host. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that greatly. I love how you're so knowledgeable about knife styles and interesting background info. Thank you, man. I do appreciate that. You know what's funny? I'm always amazed at like a good friend of mine is really into sports and I am not. And he grew up in a sports family, and he knows like he's got this crazy mind. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I love him dearly. I love him with all my heart, but I'm like, you're no rocket scientist. But how is it that you know that in 1974, Pete Rose, how do you know that shit? Uh, and some people just have a mind for that, and everyone's got a mind like that for something. And for me, it's knives. And I don't really have a mind like that, like a sports guy, because there's plenty of stuff I don't know. You see that here every time. But it's a way that you can mark time, like art history. You can mark time with art. And you can do the same thing with these knives. Michael Morgan says, never handled an Arius. The 322 blade does resemble it, though. It does. So, Michael, I just tried my first Arius in June. And yes, it is. It is worth all the hype. It is indeed. Another favorite purchase this year. Where to go? Oh, right here. Here it is. The the Kramer Custom Knives Voodoo. This thing I carry all the time, and that has only been interrupted recently by carrying this all the time, which is my Hogtooth Knives EDC Tanto. But you can see how both of these would be imminently carryable. The EDC Tanto has an overall small package, a wider handle, and this is overall just super thin, and they both carry very well. So all three of these are definitely exciting purchases. I've been eyeing the Finch 1929. Did someone just knock on the door? Okay, sorry, hearing things. I've been eyeing the Finch 1929 in red bone. Oh, that's a good one, and that's in my cabinet. But that bone, they call that a night crawler, and because first of all, it's cut in little ribs, so it looks like the texture of a night crawler, but it also has the different color kind of blood reds in it and different densities of color. And man, it's beautiful. My favorite purchase for 2021 was my Shirogorov F3 NS with purple fat carbon scales. I guess it was on the Edge 72. I guess it was. That sounds like a beautiful, beautiful knife. And this is the second time you've mentioned it. And now envy is setting in. Envy, not jealousy. Jealousy just means I want it. Envy, I don't want you to have it, but I want it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't envy anyone. Well, no, I don't envy anyone. Lone Wolf said, my knife of 2021 is the TRC Apocalypse fixed blade in LMAX. I love it, man. I love the sound. TRC Apocalypse. What is that, TRC? Spell out TRC. Please let me know what that is, because I said I loved it, and then I realized I didn't know what I was talking about. EDC Oz says, love watching Bob's show. It's smooth as 20-year scotch. Ooh, I like that. And cheap as a $2 steak. Or tough as a $2 steak. Blood Groove. Thank you, Blood Groove. Appreciate that, sir. Here for the all-knowing Bob, the Knife Junkie Wizard. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. I'm humbled. Here's to you. So refreshing. Michael Morgan says, who can be knocking at men? Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was one of my knives falling over or something. I don't know. Some stuff happens. EDC Oz, what are you doing? Thank you. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas, everyone. He says with $5. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas to you. So let me see. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I want to show the other Espadas real quick. Like, what am I doing? I should know better. I am going to sheathe these fixed blades because if I don't, it will be a regret that I live to regret. Oh, son of a gun. All right. So I really cut myself very badly this week with this knife, this BMG Quaken, just laid open my finger so badly, and I keep bumping it. And look, it just started bleeding again. God, this is a very sharp knife. You should get a BGM Knives knife and have them hollow grind it, and then be careful and don't absent-mindedly wipe gunk off of the blade, because that's what happened there. And man alive, it hurts. I don't know. I must have cut a couple of nerves that are just extra sensitive, because it hurts like it's still throbbing and it's days old. Okay, Hack 90. I usually carry, oh, very nice, an SNG PD in PD1. I recently switched to an Extrema Ratio Tanto in N690. I really like the Extrema more than I thought I would. Extremely well built, and the shape is really good. Those Extrema Ratios, I like them because they're audacious Italian design. My eyes don't like them, but my mind does. If that makes, well, I know that makes sense, but I hope that makes sense to who to you, because I think I would love an Extrema Ratio. I've always wanted their version of the Patata. It's large and it locks open, but it's not a two-finger. It's a two-handed knife. That looks awesome. DJ, hit the thumbs up for Bob and the channel, boys. Thank you so much, DJ. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. So also we got these right here. The two 7.5-inch bladed Espadas. They're so amazing. My buy of the year was the Cold Steel 3V Master Tanto. Dude, yeah. Okay, so excuse me, Jay Wilton 76. I think the Master Tanto was my first serious knife. I bought it in the late 80s. On the Edge 72, Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, man. Greatly appreciated. Cheers to you. Clink. That's me hitting those glasses. Have a happy and prosperous new year. On the Edge 72. Hero Sticks, $10. Best night of the week. Dag nab. Hero Sticks. Cheers to you. $10. Woo. Sips are getting smaller. Oh, man. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you all so much. That's going to give me a Merry Christmas indeed. I just wanted to show you these two. If you're ever in a situation, I know most people are not, and you might find them ridiculous, but if you're ever in the situation to get one of these for a reasonable price, this is the G10 and Aus 8, and this is Aus 8, polished Aus 8 and G10 and aluminum. I also have the S35 one over here in the smaller version. But if you have to, if you can get this for a reasonable price, there's really, like, you have to get one of these knives. It's kind of a moral imperative because they're audacious. And you know what? We got to support this kind of, well, let me put it this way. No one else is doing it. And no one else certainly would be doing it this well, because a lot of energy has to be poured into these, having a whole business line that makes 7.5-inch folders. We don't know how long they're going to last, how long they're going to be around with this. So I highly recommend you pick one of these things up. And I just broke one of my cardinal rules, which is don't say pick up a knife. I just picked up this new Chris Reeve. For some reason, that sticks in my craw. I don't like it. Finally, got a large Sebenza. Huh, look at that. Look at that. I said Sebenza. This comes up. It's Kismet iHeart CPM S110V. Finally, I got the large Sebenza 31 plain, and now I understand the hype. Can't keep it out of my pocket. Okay, so the Sebenza 31 is like the 21 and the Umnumzan together, right? Because the 31, they did the whole thing with the lock bar, right? The lock bar insert and the not the lock bar insert. I'm sorry. The ceramic ball being the detent and the lock bar interface. Brandon G, my knife buy of the year is probably the CPK boot dagger. Ooh, yes. The CPK boot dagger. Yes. That is a cool one, and I don't have it. Redacted said, I mostly buy budget knives from China. I do because I like them, but also because it seems to piss off the right people. My favorite purchase this year was probably the Kaiser October. Kaiser came out with a lot of cool stuff this year. A lot of cool stuff. But that Towser K, wouldn't it be cool to see that in an upgraded material situation? TRC are the knives out of Lithuania, Andrios Trisios. Yes, TRC. Those are cool. And the Acta Non Verba, those are cool too. Like some Eastern European companies are starting to rise up. EDC Oz says it was raining in Los Angeles, so the S110V Para 3 was appreciated. Very nice, very nice. Blood Groove, for New Year's, we should all donate something so Bob has to take a drink and we get him drunk. You don't know that I'm not drunk. You don't know that I can't handle that I'm just handling my liquor. Redacted says, actually, my favorite purchase this year was the Wee Angst. That was a Justin Lundquist, I think, but that wasn't released this year. Matt Harvey, hey, Matt, good to have you. How was the Kershaw Strata, Bob? How about the Kershaw Strata? I liked it. I did like it. I did. I bought it and I thought, I'm buying this as a giveaway knife. However, if I love it, I'll buy it for myself. And I didn't end up buying it for myself because next to this, the 5.5-inch Strata is more like gentleman's carry. As I mentioned in my review, I said the Strata is the 5.5-inch knife that you carry when you want to carry a 5.5-inch knife in your tuxedo pants or in a business suit, because it's very svelte, very thin, very light. I mean, it's a light steel frame lock folder with all sorts of weight reduction happening inside of it. And it is a pretty sweet knife. Like everything about the design of it is really nice. But I couldn't justify purchasing it because I know that there was no place for it in my collection except as a cool large knife. That's all. But I would recommend it if you want to get a 5.5-inch bladed knife that carries like a 4-inch blade, like something that you barely, if you have regular jeans on and you're wearing that XL Kershaw Strata, it will, you'll forget it's there. That's all I'm trying to say. I really like Pete's recent video on the Espada XL. Haha, that was a good one. I haven't seen that yet. I love him and I love the Espada, so I know it'll be awesome. Chuno Tam, good to have you here, Chuno. Fancy Espadas are amazing, cannot be beat. I agree. And do you remember the fancy Raja, the Raja 1? I wish they'd come back with that. Blade Ogre says, we'll knock it down to 4, but my favorite buys of 2021 are the ProTech CQC7, very nice. Emerson Sheepdog, Bowie, excellent. The Red Horse Knives, Hellraiser, that's a cool one. And yes, the ProTech Bren 3. Those are all awesome. All awesome. Really liking the D-Bass. Merry Christmas, you filthy knife animal. Thank you very much. You filthy knife animal, says D-Bass. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you. And here's a to you. So good. Hero Stick says, knife of the year, SOC. Oh, the J-Cape flipper, version 3.5, inflamed titanium brass hardware. It sings. I love that. That's the Something Obscene Company. That's what SOC stands for. When my time comes, I want to be buried with a Sabenza. Is that bizarre? Hell no, sir. Hell no. Like, I tell my daughters, I'm like, if I buy the farm and I haven't gotten rid of all this stuff, like, don't just sell it off because you're distraught. Here are some people you can call. They'll know what you can get for these knives, and then keep some. I know my girls like knives. They'll keep some of them. Howdy, checking in late, says Quack. Quack, good to have you here as always. Let's head in. Let's Shane Gables. Sorry, I'm late. Sean, always a Shane. I'm sorry, I just called you Sean. Shane, it is always a pleasure to have Shane Gables with us. Late or not, drink one for me, says Newman Outdoors. Newman Outdoors, Newman. There you go. Most carried is the Urban EDC Supply F5.5 in natural micarta. That was a cool one. Urban EDC Supply has some cool knives coming out that they collaborate on with. Bob, I've got an Olamic Wayfarer on its way. That is cool. So, Shane, I think you know this probably. I have mixed feelings on Olamic. Sometimes it's too many notes, but I love the Wayfarer and what's the other big one? Those are beautiful, and I like them as simple as possible because they do like to embellish. And I absolutely hate the busker, the way it looks. And then I had one in hand, and it blew me away. And I can see why people go bonkers over that knife. There is a visual roadblock for me on that knife in particular, but the Olamic Wayfarer, that's a congratulations kind of situation. EDC Oz, $10. I think you already gave that to me, but I'm going to say thanks again, man. I appreciate it. Didn't you? You just want me to drink, don't you? Merry Christmas. Let's see. We got Santa. We got the Christmas tree. We got the horns. And that's the Malocchio, or wards off the Malocchio. And then two beers coming together. So ching. Thursday Night Knives. All right, let's do some Life Knife news because there are two things I want to talk about real quickly. Hea Designs, as you know, Hea Sam Abdelrahman was my guest this week, and Hea Designs designing some just outstandingly cool knives, but also they do other cool accessories. Well, they're branching out that way. And this new thing that they have, the Anchor, is just this really stylish EDC carabiner. Excuse me, and it's got a couple of inserts you can see there with different machined patterns. One of them is sort of a perforated pattern, the other radial concentric circles, and it is a carabiner, but the cool thing about it. The thing I like about it is that it what's the word? It partitions your keys off from the clip. So you can see that bottom ring. That's where you put your keys and your stuff. And then you got the clip on the top. And to me, it seems simple, but that's a great way of doing it. I've had a number of those S-beaners, and they will screw you. If you get an S-beaner without a clip, you're going to lose your keys. So I've had S-beaners fail on me. The thing I liked about the S-beaners is that you can partition your keys off from the clip part. But unless you buy a locking version or make a lock for them or use tape or something, your keys are going to come off. So this is I like this. It's thoughtful and it's stylish and it's cool and it's titanium and anodized aluminum and it's just cool, and it's not a carabiner that also has a screwdriver and a hex wrench. It's not like festooned with tools. It's just a thing, and that thing is an exceptional carabiner for your keys. So I'm psyched about that. I think HEA is a cool company because they're young, vital people. The fact that they're young doesn't matter. They're vital people that are creative, coming up with really cool designs for knives that are unusual but very useful and beautifully built. So I think they're doing cool stuff. Chuno says, I would love Cold Steel to make a 5.5 fancy black Talon. Yes, that would be just too much. That's funny. I was just watching a what's his name? Culbertson, his Satsu 5 video today, where he was testing a black Talon versus a holdout 1, both serrated on a big piece of pork stuck to a to a bamboo shoot, and both just mangled it, of course. But that black Talon is just, geez, man, that is just brutal. The busker is very interesting, like 4 funky little blade shapes. Yeah, yeah. G-Man says, thanks for all you guys do. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you, G-Man. Merry Christmas to you, man. Hag 90 says, good vibes with all the knife people. Indeed, man. Good knives, good vibes, and good knives. Indeed. One cool thing I want to mention, Blood Groove, have another drink on me, cowboy. Bottoms up. Merry Christmas. Woo! Cheers, man. Thank you. Oh, I'm running out. Gee gosh, golly, what happens when I run out? Thank you so much, Blood Groove. It's really greatly appreciated. And not just this super chat, but just having you in the chat and helping conversation keep moving. I really appreciate it. Byron, my favorite 2021 blades, the Spartan Defensa. Awesome knife designed by the great and powerful Bill Harsey. Everything he touches is gold. The Buck Selkirk, not familiar with that. The Spyderco Arctic Storm, that is a cool one, family gifts, and Hinderer Eck Dagger. Ooh, you got yourself an Eck Dagger? Hinderer. Okay, so Rick Hinderer is just killing it. You know, he's the only one, excuse me, to ever use the K-Bar name on his version of the K-Bar to get permission. And now he got permission from K-Bar, who owns the rights to John Eck Knives, to make Eck. He made an Eck Bowie, right? A Bowie. He made an Eck clip point and then a dagger. So, right, he made both, right? Well, in any case, man, that is awesome. That's 2 edges. Be careful. If you need help, send it my way, and I'll see what I can do. And that's awesome. Sam Abdel Rahman, founder of Hea Designs, was my guest on Sunday's episode 276 of the Knife Junkie podcast. It is an awesome one. He's a great guy. Sam of Hea Designs, such a great guy. We had a really good conversation. Everyone I have a conversation with, I enjoy. I enjoy, each person I enjoy for different reasons. And he was just a, charming guy. Had a lot of interesting things to say, and he was a good conversationalist. We had a good conversation. Sog Knives has some exciting news. Sog Knives, we know Sog from their classic fixed blade knives, which I wish they would make more of, to their big box days where everything was festooned with the word Sog all over it. Sog, to their recent rebranding. Sog has been through, well, they've been on a knife journey. And that journey may be at an end, but in a good end. Sog was just acquired by GSM Outdoors, the same people who acquired Cold Steel a year ago. We were all, myself included, hyperventilating about such a thing, but it just seemed to add more resources to Cold Steel to keep Cold Steel going. Hopefully that is how that continues into the future. But Sog, I mean, okay. Sog needs help. Look at this. I mean, I know they've done the rebranding and their new knives look great, but look at this. This is an older Sog. Can anyone tell me, can anyone justify the design around the thumb ramp? Can anyone justify that? You've got a thumb ramp on the handle and they're like, oh, we forgot all about that one, so we'll put a thumb ramp on the blade too. But there's no way you can actually use it because the thumb ramp on the handle is going to get in the way. This design is ugly and awkward. Come on, man. Man, Joe Biden ruined Come On Man for me. I can't say that anymore. That used to be my favorite. Now our president took it from me. But in any case, Sog is now going to be under the ownership and guidance of GSM Outdoors. GSM owns dozens of outdoor brands, mostly related to accessories for hunting and that kind of thing. So hopefully they get the goods, they get the support, the money, the designers they need to keep this rebranding trend and the positive things happening with SOG going. I think this article was unfair in showing that ugly ass knife with the troubled thumb ramp area. I mean, I'm offended. But I move on to the knife fight. Hag90 says the only SOG I have is the XR Ultralight. It's pretty sick. Yeah, that's the thing. A couple of years ago, they started really sickening things up, if you will, with their XR and with their XR lock, which is their Axis lock, and then the redesign of some of the classics, and then some new models coming along. You know, they're doing some good stuff, but they're also doing some lifestyle stuff. You know, they're kind of, you know, doing some like lifestyle-y stuff that is a little bit vomitrocious. But, you know, hopefully GSM Outdoors infuses a little more testosterone back into the brand and they stop doing some of their lifestyle stuff and they go back to knives. D-Bass says, I was thinking about pre-ordering the F5.5 in the antique bronze in Elmax. Looks really nice. Yes. I would love to have that. That's just another, that's not quite on my short list, but it's another one that's on my medium-sized list that I just don't have the money for. Knife Junkie, I have major carabiner fail. Gonna do a video on it. I lost my RFID wallet and someone tried to buy $4 worth of Popeyes in the hood. Oh, jeez. That's funny, man. I've had people, I've had bad luck like that too. I've had people try and spend lots of money to someone got my debit card in London. This is back in 2006 when I was visiting my then girlfriend, now wife, and they tried to do all sorts. They did all sorts of stuff with my phone. It was kind of horrifying. I was like, I can't believe my name is being associated with such activities. Kevin Moore says, undoubtedly, my top 5 purchases for 2021 have been the Finch Cherry Bomb, the Quill, excellent. Got mine right here. Artisan Cutlery Proponent, cool. The Boker Smatchet, excellent. Got mine around here somewhere. Boom. And the Spyderco Tenacious Liner Lock. I'm curious which Tenacious, because they came out with the lightweight version this year with S35. You know, the Tenacious was always just in that cheesy, well, not cheesy, but plain black G10 with the 8 CR13 MOV. But now they have it in the lightweight version with the GRN and the S35. I guess it sold. I guess it sold Observation Group, now SOG. Well, when I had the gentleman on who was responsible for their rebranding, they really wanted, you know, I said, I've always called it SOG, but I also know it's whatchamacallit, Observations Group. And then some people call it SOG. What should I call it? And it was kind of like, well, you can call it SOG if you want, but we want to be called Special whatever it is. You know, they had their own idea about it, and I left that conversation, you know, enlightened about a lot of things, and it was a very good and interesting conversation. But I didn't leave knowing what to call the damn company, so I'm calling them SOG. The SOG Terminus XR is overrated. The pocket clip is a design fail, too deep, and gathers pocket material. I know exactly what you're talking about, making it impossible to get out of the pocket. It's funny, I've had that very same observation when carrying that knife in like Carhartts or anything that has a fatter pocket seam. I also, my Terminus XR, thank you. Studies and Observations Group, Jonathan Wegner. That's right. Thank you, sir. Mine, what the hell was I just talking about? See, okay, it's getting late. Can you put up Hollywood Tactical's comment real quick, Jim? Oh, my Sog Terminus XR. The XR lock is never exactly perpendicular to the handle frame, so it doesn't slide back nicely. It's like it was one of the first ones though. It was an early version. Okay, so I had a knife fight set up, and I think this is not a good one. I want to because I was kind of banking on talking about this beforehand, and we didn't. I'm sticking with calling it SOG because surely that's what the infantry called them. Yeah, exactly. There, studies and observation. Yeah, right, exactly. So I was going to talk about the USA-made Microtech SOCOM Elite versus the China-made Microtech SOCOM Bravo, but I have no experience. No one else seems to have any experience except for a few people. Just convinced my girlfriend to buy a bottle of bourbon for our eggnog. Hey, man, it's the time of year, EDC. Do it. I think I'm going to skip tonight's knife fight because basically, for me, it would come down to a USA versus China-made knife argument, and we've had that one. Sog seems a troubled brand, like a sports team that you keep trying to root for, but somehow can't because they do dumb shit. Yeah, I know. So what my argument would have been is that even though I don't want to like the Microtech SOCOM Bravo made by Reich Knives in China now, because I've always thought Microtech is like the paragon of American made. Um, the cool thing about Microtech is it's American made. One guy started it, but it's a big ass company, but it's not huge, and they do what they want, and they're classy, and they can charge what they want, and people pay for it because it's badass. And now they're having some company in China make their knives. What? But then you look at it and you're like, oh, it's Reich. Oh, geez, they're kind of really good at making knives. I bet they're going to make a and then so what do they do with the Bravo? They made a pretty tricked out version. Sog, the Cleveland Browns of a factory of sadness. Oh my God. Did you say that because you know I'm from Cleveland? Not that I care. I don't care about football, but a factory of sadness. I love that. Oh, oh, we're so sorry. Oh, a Sog knife? I'm so sorry. Oh, the Cleveland Brown? I'm sorry. And I'm just kidding about the Sog knife. One of my favorite knives is my Sog XL X my Sog Big Bowie. It's awesome. You know, they did fixed blades right. They did fix blades right. And so, okay, so all I'm saying is keep your eye out for there have been a couple of videos so far of the SOCOM Bravo. It looks just like a SOCOM, but it's made by Reich. And you know, Reich, they do a lot of milling and sculpting and stuff. So this is a tricked out, it looks like a SOCOM as passed through the hands of Marfione. It looks like a custom style Bravo. It's pretty freaking cool, I gotta say. And I kind of want to dislike it, but so far from what I've seen and what I've heard, I don't. Byron, speaking of sports, go Cincinnati Bearcats on 12/31/21 at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, Byron, we will be sending our good juju to the Bearcats. Ritter Hogue MK1 G2 is dialed in. It is indeed dialed in, man. Everything Mr. Ritter does is dialed in. Best Axis type lock, in my opinion. I agree. All righty, everybody. I think that's me about to wrap up. The Factory of Sadness quote was a fan crying, screaming outside the stadium, going, "You are a factory of sadness," in his rant. I love that. I could just see some grown man weeping over a loss and saying that. Ah, it's beautiful. People can be so impressive and poetic, or just people can just be so impressive when they're not trying to be. I love it. All right, so check this thing out that Jim hooked up. Right, I can never do that. Right here, this QR code to check us out on Patreon. You just put your phone up, and like magic, truly like magical, it brings you to this Patreon page, and you can check out all the things you can get. And my favorite thing to offer, I got to say, is the interview extras. We get another 20 or 15 minutes out of the people we talk to, and I ask the kind of questions I maybe feel like I don't want to ask to a larger audience, or maybe it's just things I haven't gotten to, but I love that aspect of it. So check us out on Patreon. All right, everybody. Happy holidays to you, Matt Harvey. Happy holidays to all of you out there. Hero Sticks to you. Just went Gentleman Junkie, said Hero Sticks. Right on. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's that's great. And I would like to encourage all of you in the new year to come on and join me right here. All you got to do is aim your camera at your face and go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/join and just dip in for 5 minutes. You're not on the hook to be here the whole time. And I'd love to meet you in person and talk and just see what knife you're carrying, whatever. But let's start doing more of that in the new year. Bob, the fact that you didn't say, yeah, oh wait, no. I did. Shane, something has stuck in my craw tonight. I don't remember exactly what it is, but something has stuck in my craw. And damn it, it sticks in my craw that you weren't here to hear it. D-Bass says, good night, Bob and everyone. Merry Christmas. D-Bass, good night to you, sir. Quack, Merry Christmas, Bob and Jim. Thanks for making Thursday night. Thank you, Quack. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas and thanks for the fun, says On the Edge 72. Thank you. Thank you to you, On the Edge 72, and everyone else who gave me a super chat tonight, Hero Sticks, and everyone else. I greatly appreciate it. It's awesome. I'm so happy. Thank you. K Mason. Thanks, Bob and Jim. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you, K Mason. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Blood Groove. Thank you. Blood Groove. Merry Christmas. All he says, thank you for those super chats. Blood Groove. It's appreciated. And we'll all look out for your channel. Check out for Blood Groove's channel. Shane, thank you. Deacon. Happy holidays, Bob. Thanks for the quality content. Well, thank you, Deacon, for thinking it's quality. I appreciate that. Smash the like button. Be safe. Carry strong. Thank you, Hero Sticks. And thank you, everyone. EDC Oz included. Merry Christmas, everyone, he says. And peace to you. That's peace. That's something else. JN, Merry Christmas, JN. Bob and Jim, thanks as always. Well, thank you, sir, for joining us as always. And thanks, everyone else. And of course, thank you, Jim, for slamming it. Your best director, best producer out there. Thanks for your work, magically working that switcher. All right, everybody. Until next time, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and talk to you soon. I'm out, and don't take dull for an answer.